Guy didn't even know when the Masters was because he's never played in it before. And that's never been the reality for a player like him and most players on the PGA Tour. He went on to say it was his dream to never get a real job. And how he talked about for most guys like him on tour, every single event they play in feels like a major championship. And even said that even as cool as playing in his first Masters will be, the big deal for him is that by getting a win on tour, he secures his tour membership for 2 more seasons. If you win an event on the PGA Tour, you're fully exempt for 2 more years. That's how Nick Dunlap is doing what he's doing because he won on the PGA Tour and then turned pro. It's just crazy to think about that. Because we, the golf media, love to talk about controversy. Golf over the last 3 years, 4 years, has been a massive reality show. To the fact where they've actually made Full Swing, which I guess is kind of like a reality show. I don't know. But it's crazy to think about what it's like for the other, say, 80 or 90% of players on the PGA Tour. Peter Malnati didn't know when the Masters was. He didn't know 100% if he was, I think he's joking, if he was going to get his invite. Of course he's going to get his invite because they send it to all the winners of the current PGA Tour season. But it's just crazy to think. And it's easy to feel good for a guy like that. Because he feels like he's one of us. Someone that's had to work really hard, right? People watching golf and people talking about golf, we're not the elite players. And what's nice about a game like golf is that we can go see Scottie Scheffler do it on TV, and then we can all go try to do it, right? Mike Trout hit a home run in the first MLB game of the season, in the bottom of the first inning. I guess it was the top of the first inning. They're playing at Baltimore. I was watching that game today because it was the first MLB game of the season. He hits a home run in the top of the first. I can't go out to my local MLB stadium and go try to do that. Right? If Scottie Scheffler does something really cool at the Houston Open, one, there's enough public golf courses on the PGA Tour that you can actually go play where these people are playing. But two, I can go to any driving range, any golf course, and go try to replicate the exact same thing. Right? We all grow up on the practice putting green with a putt to win the Masters. And for the top less than 1% of all golfers, does that ever become a reality to even play in the tournament? It's easy to feel good for a guy where we feel like we've been in his shoes. Yeah, he's better than all of us, without a doubt. But it doesn't come easy like it does for Rory, for Scottie, for players like that. So because he won this week on tour, or last week on tour, he gets another press conference in the lead up to the Houston Open this week, and he was asked, basically, why do you think your win resonated with so many people? Like I just talked about. It resonated with me, a guy that never knew if he was going to win again. His last win was before he had kids, getting to celebrate with his family for the first time, securing his job for 2 more years. And yeah, the Masters thing, it is such a unique perspective where it's like, yeah, that Masters thing is pretty cool too. But it was just very cool to see the moment. Here's Peter on why that win resonated with other people. Switching gears now, we are going to go to the world of golf and the PGA Tour, coming off of, I think, an amazing week at the Players' Championship. Highly entertaining, a great field, an amazing golf course, some incredible drama coming down the stretch, and most of all, an amazing champion. Scottie Scheffler is on an unbelievable run again. And the thing is, the talk is always, how much could Scottie win if he could putt? Because really the last year, he's had struggles putting. Rory says as a joke, maybe you should try a mallet. He puts a mallet in the bag, and he immediately wins his first tournament at Bay Hill, wins back-to-back weeks at TPC Sawgrass, the Players' Championship last weekend, and is the first ever player on the 50th anniversary of the event to successfully defend his title at the Players' Championship. He started the days 5 shots back of Xander Schauffele, shot a 64 on Sunday to win by 1 shot, and the drama coming down the final hole of the event, you have Xander Schauffele, Wyndham Clark playing the 18th, Wyndham Clark has a putt to tie the lead in one of the most brutal lip outs I think anybody's ever seen. But it was very entertaining, and the golf world loved this for a few reasons. Number one, the field was great. The stars were at the top of the leaderboard, and Scottie Scheffler is that guy in golf right now. Data Golf was doing some analytics where they compared the stats of Tiger's basically his whole career, because he went on a run for like 10 years. To the beginning of last year, Jon Rahm went on a dominant run, won 3 times before the Masters, comparing it to Scottie Scheffler right now, because Scottie Scheffler has been the best ball striker in the world for probably the last 2 years. He just hasn't been the best putter. Now they're starting to do his stats. It does show that Jon Rahm's run at the beginning of last year was a little bit more dominant, but that Scottie is climbing and climbing and climbing, and that if he stays at it, this run may be more dominant than Jon Rahm was at the beginning of the year leading up to the Masters. And the conversation this week has been, is Scottie the best since Tiger? I don't necessarily want to comment on that, because I think everyone, like basketball likes to talk about MJ and LeBron. I think everyone loves to say, is so-and-so good as Tiger? Last year it was Jon Rahm. In 2012 and 14, it was Rory when Tiger was on the beginning of that injury arc. And it's all very interesting. It was Jordan Spieth in 2015. Is he the next Tiger? Is he as good as Tiger? It seems like we do this every year with whoever gets off to a good start before the Masters. But Scottie probably deserves to have that conversation. And here's what I really liked on tour last week. One, the broadcast on NBC was a lot of fun. Brad Faxton, obviously Dan Hicks, Mike Tirico, because it's a big event for NBC. Kevin Kisner has it figured out. And I was talking to Ryan Sikora. I bounce a lot of golf ideas off of Ryan Sikora. And I was like, this is Kiz's major tryout, right? He's doing a signature event. If he does well and he doesn't qualify for the U.S. Open or the Open Championship, I think NBC would be foolish not to have him on those calls. He's younger. He's a breath of fresh air as a part of that new kind of media culture because of the stuff he does with the Barstool guys. He's just a down-to-earth, funny guy. And he's a really funny guy who's played all these golf courses and came up short at a Players' Championship, so he was able to provide some great insight to what Wyndham Clark and Xander Schauffele were going through as Scottie Scheffler went on this run on Sunday. So the 4-man booth was interesting, but it was great. I love the broadcast. Obviously, the limited commercials. How that happens is that someone underwrites the event, basically, and gets a bigger sponsorship so that NBC shows less commercials. But that was really exciting. And then the social media content from the PGA Tour, whose social is usually pretty good, this week was a whole nother level. The content they were putting out at social media with the players and everything was really, really good. It was really exciting. Let's hear Scottie Scheffler after he won his second Players' Championship and successfully defended his title at TPC Sawgrass. Hi, everybody, and welcome into a brand new edition of the Ben Parris Show. It is Thursday, May 2nd, 2024, and to the surprise of no one, we are talking golf this week, but we are not talking the PGA Tour. We're talking team golf. And if your mind immediately goes to live golf, well, you would be wrong as well. The Grass League just kicked off its inaugural season right here in Tempe at Grass Clippings Rolling Hills, the new lighted par 3 golf course right by ASU Baseball's Phoenix Municipal Stadium. Now, the event included 75 teams and a dramatic finish under the lights during the final round and the following 3-team playoff to crown a winner at the Grass Clippings Open. Pete Wilson is the co-founder and chief marketing officer of the Grass League, and I had the chance to speak with him about team golf, sports being played under the lights, his vision for the future of Grass League and Grass Clippings, plus so much more. Hope you enjoy our conversation on this week's episode of The Ben Parris Show. In the overall scheme of things, particularly right now in golf, team golf is a pretty hot topic. What's kind of the philosophy of bringing that down to the amateur level and making teams a part of the game?
I mean, I think I've talked about it with, some of my partners and other people for a long time, just thinking about sports in general. Like when I look back and think about basketball and I think about football, baseball, every sport I've ever played, there's a team component to it. And when you have a team component, there's a lot of life lessons you learn from that. You learn about selflessness. You learn about being a good teammate, working for something that you don't even know what you're working towards. And there's something beautiful about that. For some reason in golf, they try to implement this at the earliest stages. Um, Even in college and high school, um, they don't even get it right then, in my opinion. And then when you go off into the professional world, like when someone gets drafted tonight on the NFL team, they're not going on to be, a solo act in some random event or some random league. They have veterans, they have coaches, they have people that are on top of them, making sure they're improving as a person, as an athlete, but as a person as well. And something like is very profound about that. Golf is very different, and we learned this. All of us did. By one of our co-founders, Jimmy, was a professional golfer for a short stint. He played on the mini tours and stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, I can't think of a more lonely existence playing professional golf right out of college. Like you're flying to Latin America, you're flying to Canada, you're flying to who knows where, little nowhere Alabama. And for the most part, you're by yourself. There's no teammate thing. Caddy is week to week. You'd be lucky if you have a coach that's going to call you. And it's really sad to see where, again, I always reference Drew Kittleson, but there's hundreds of thousands of them in the world that give up golf early in life when they are prodigies. Because Drew Kittleson was, in my opinion, I don't know the full definition of a prodigy, but compared to my golf game, and I feel as if I'm a pretty good golfer, he's a prodigy. He gave up golf after when he was like 25, 26, like in his prime, because the the length of getting to where Jordan Spieth is or to where anybody of those guys is not glamorous in the least bit. And it's like pretty dark when you think about it, what these guys have to go to. And then when you get to that point, they are traveling all around the world playing for themselves, firing caddies, doing this, doing that. And just something doesn't feel right about that. Don't get me wrong. I am a golf purist. I grew up on golf. I'll watch the US Open this year and I'll probably cry. Okay. So there's nothing to discount what's out there. What we're trying to provide is another outlet to where guys, girls, any age that are like can sense a sense of a real team camaraderie. And the way we did it and the way we think others have failed, for instance, like Live Golf is still not a team sport, because what you have is you have this team component and then you have this individual component. So it's like, oh yeah, Cameron Smith won the singles and won $4 million, but then the team Smash Brothers won this, and you're like, wait, what am I even watching right now? Like, as a fan of any sport, you need understanding, you need comprehension, and when you have two storylines going on at once, it's very difficult to comprehend. Thus, you lack, viewership and everything like that. So when we thought about it, we said there will never be an individual champion. Granted, there might be a team under, like the Muskies won, and obviously Drew Kittleson's team and Brian Hops's two-man team won it for the Muskies, but you see all the Muskies out there going nuts just as much as they are. And Drew Kittleson flared one on the 18th hole. Hops put it to 5 feet. Kittleson hits it in. That is very much a team sport, in my opinion. And it gives me goosebumps hearing quotes from guys like Austin Quick and Tyler Waworski, where Austin Quick goes, I met him 3 weeks before the tournament, and he was asking me questions about the league, as everyone does. And he's like, to be honest, dude, I've been out here practicing with Tyler for a month now. He goes, I hated pro golf because it was so lonely. And he goes, this is the first time I feel like I'm back in college or I'm back in high school. And he goes, by the way, I won two state titles in high school, and I won one national championship at ASU in golf. And he's like, I'm deadly in team golf. And so there's a deeper, more profound through line with this whole thing that life's tough enough, man. It really is. And it helps to go through life when you got someone, in the trenches with you. And so we really wanted to explore that. It's extremely important that team golf is at the forefront for us.
I'm always going to love Jordan at the Masters because of the same reason that I think Hideki is so valued absolutely this week. If Hideki hadn't won a Masters and simply just had the win in a signature event this season, I think he'd still be, middle of the pack. The reason why Hideki is so attractive is because he's a previous champion. And I've always believed, especially about Jordan Spieth, he can come to Augusta in absolutely any form. He could be playing the best golf, he could be playing the worst golf. I always love Jordan Spieth at Augusta because he always plays well, and that's part of being a prior champion, right? Talk about Phil Mickelson last year, right? Another one of those past champions, 2 green jackets. Puts up a great number on Sunday and ends up runner up simply because I think he's played there so many times, and just the guys who get it get it. Jordan Spieth gets it. Rory McIlroy, on the other hand, just doesn't. Hideki gets it, and that's why I think he's so valuable.
So I think really quickly it's a great point, right? And Phil was playing terrible golf.
Yeah.
Coming into that tournament last year. But I think,